Well, I'll tell you, I won't elaborate on that, but in 48 years of cutting hair, I've only had difficulties with two people in 48 years. And so I'd say that was a pretty good record.
Sure. The rude people, I would say majority. The grouchy old people. The college kids aren't too bad. They come in all drunk and, you know, it's all cool. But the elder people, especially now that I've worked graveyards and I've worked days, the grouchy old people that are just really opinionated, I think, are about the worst.
College people will tip you because you know them, but then you got all these old people that are all rich and all stingy and they won't even tip. They're like, oh, that is a check for the amount. Thank you. Box of wine.
No, I've had a lot of celebrities that I've cut their hair over the years. The Partridge Family, I think's what it was. They had something like that. They had this little red-headed guy on there, kid with long hair. His grandmother brought him in the shop one time for a haircut. She said, give this kid a regular little boy's haircut. So I give him a nice little regular boy's haircut. He's a cute little guy, see, with a lot of freckles. And his grandmother liked it. His mother saw it. She liked to have died. Because that was his character, was that long hair, you know. And that was fun.
I've actually two incidents. One gentleman was over here in the, I don't know if you can see it, but there's a section of doors that have the burritos and the stuff that we cook for ourselves. And he was all up in there, and I asked him, you know, well, what are you doing? He's like, well, I'm looking for something. I said, well, why didn't you ask me? I would have helped you. Well, anyway, he got in my face, started calling me nasty names, and then I got my temper flared, and I just, yeah. And then there was another incident. I caught a guy stealing, and he started getting mouthy, and, you know, I have a real attitude problem. Especially when you're stealing from me, I'll throw you out of here, and I won't let you back in. So that's, and plus that's store policy, but I kind of take it personal. So.
Yeah, somebody was just, the address got put down wrong, like they gave it to the server and the server didn't put it right on the ticket, so I was somewhere else and their apartment was at another place, and eventually when I got there, he was just irate. He was like, this is cold, I don't want it. I just, okay then, you know, you don't want a pizza, you don't have to get pizza. It's no skin off my ass. I'll just take it back to the store and eat it, you know. So that's how I solved that problem, you know. Didn't have to put up with it, just walked away. You can call the store manager and figure all that out, so. Oh man, some people like, they don't have addresses out in the country, so they're like, well, we live on the 3rd road past the turn 2 by the big green tractor. You're like, great, that's a real good description on what's your address? They're like, rural route 6, box 4. You're like, no. This isn't gonna work, so you have to get on the phone and get step-by-step directions on where these places are at. Some of them are out there, pretty hard to find. I'm driving around out in the country. This lady had like a little cow gate or something, and her house was like behind the cow gate, and there's all these stray dogs, and I'm like, hey, put these dogs away. And she's like, oh, don't worry about the dogs. Open up the gate and just drive on up here. I was like, I'm not opening up any goddamn gates. I'm not getting out and worrying about these dogs. Oh, don't worry about them. I was like, man. You don't worry about the dogs. How does that sound? I don't know. I don't like stray animals.
There was a youngster out in California. He's a teenage boy, about 18, 19 years old. I think he was out of high school. He had hair down, way down below his shoulders. And that was the style. Well, it really wasn't the style, but that was sort of the way a lot of the kids wore their hair in those days, long. And his mother sent him, gave him the money, sent him down for a haircut. So we got him a chair, and I asked him how he'd like his haircut. He said, just fake it, man. So I got him in the chair, and I gave him a nice shampoo and blew his hair out real nice. And put a little hairspray on it, make it look sort of nice, you know, coming back. His mother was there, and she liked it, so we left it just like that. I didn't cut 3 hairs off of that. But, and I think primarily what it was that he wouldn't keep his hair nice, you know, comb nice. And I think that's what worried his mother more than anything. I don't think the length of his hair had a whole lot to do with it. But I got real tickled at him when he got in the chair. He asked him how he wanted his hair cut, and he said, just fake it. So I did. And it made Mom happy, so of course if Mom's happy, I'm happy. He's happy, so.
Well, when I was younger, I did go to college before my daughter was born. I majored in medical billing. I can draw your blood legally in the state of California. Medical records, I have all the degrees to do all that, but unfortunately, I screwed up my life and decided to do dope and went to prison, so I can't do any of those things. So I have to go back to school and start all over. I'm not preaching because it's just, you just live and learn. Everybody's a little bit different. There are people that continue to go to prison and just don't learn because they're stupid. But I've been to pure prison once. I learned from my mistakes. I went for possession of a controlled substance, which was methamphetamine. First time ever, and that's when, you know, Governor Pete Wilson decided, hey, let's crack down. So I got almost 3 years for a rock about that big. Right, that's why when I did go to prison, it ruined it. Because technically by law, even in New Mexico, I was a preschool teacher once upon a time too. I cannot work with children, I can't work with drugs, I can't work in a doctor's office. So everything that I majored in school, legally by law, since I'm a convicted felon, even though I've been good for 8 years, I can't do, so I have to go back and start over.
Well, I used to work at an amusement park called Adventureland. I had to sit at the little shack at the top of the log ride. You know, you go up the log ride and there's somebody sitting in a little shack. That's what I had to do, and it really, it's not fun. It was all hot and I'm scared of heights. I don't like it. It's like the worst job I had, probably. I didn't do anything. It was for safety measures, and they hadn't had a safety glitch in 8 years, but they still had somebody sitting up there just to make sure. No safety problems. No. Not on my watch. We had a meeting this morning. We were talking about that. They were like, they always wanted to keep having it. They always wanted to have a driver's meeting, but we have like new people join every other week, and like we lose 4 people, you know? Yeah. So staff is constantly changing. We just had a driver's meeting this morning. Only had 1 new person, but then like 2 other people informed us during the meeting that they're gonna quit. They voiced some concerns and walked out. I was like, wow, that's awesome. I'll probably be picking up their shift next week sometime. I really don't, you know, I really don't know. Some days just get frustrated with internal things, I guess. I really don't know. People have personal problems that are way bigger than what I can handle and deal with sometimes. And that's probably why. I don't know. Maybe they found something better.
Yeah.